Hi guys, Harry here and welcome to my breakdown of Doctor Who Redacted episode Angels, in which we see probably the return of one of the most terrifying recurring monsters, the Weeping Angels. But before we get into this video, don't forget to subscribe, but also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get into the video. So, we'll start on where the last episode left off, with Jordan being told that he's gone missing. We hear that from Cleo's mum. However, some time has passed as Cleo is walking home and she is recording ideas for the podcast on her phone. So a little bit of time has passed, and we know that Jordan is still missing as Cleo goes to her apartment and there are police officers outside, and Cleo asks them, "Oh, is this to do with the disappearance of my brother?" But a police officer reveals that it's to do with the disappearance of a young woman. Now, I don't know who this woman could be. There aren't many clues. There's just that one line by the policeman, and we only know where Cleo lives, but Cleo lives in London. Could be Donna. Could be anyone. I don't know. But that someone has gone missing. However, Cleo doesn't report the disappearance of her brother to the police officer when he goes, "Do you want to make a formal, do you want to make this formal? Do you want to tell me all the details about your brother's disappearance?" But she doesn't for some reason. I don't know whether because at that moment she thinks that Jordan might have just gone off with a girlfriend or something, but she doesn't want to report it for some reason. However, the people that she does tell are obviously Abby and Shauna, and obviously makes sense because they're quite close. But I don't know why she doesn't tell the policeman that her brother is missing. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And later in the episode, Jordan phones Cleo, but there's that same static thing that the doctor had when she tried to get through to Cleo and she left a voicemail. However, Cleo can kind of make out Jordan, and he seems obviously scared by the tone of his voice, and he needs Cleo's help. And obviously then Cleo is really worried about Jordan, and she obviously wants to tell Abby and Shauna what has happened. However, it needs it leads to a lot of travel, as Cleo can't get through to Abby, but she can get through to Shauna. But then they need to find a way to contact Abby, which is going all the way to Glasgow, where Abby is, which quite well leads into the Angel title of this episode. So, obviously, the Angel title of this episode refers to the Weeping Angels, mainly the Weeping Angels from Blink. And I think Blink is regarded as the best Weeping Angel storyline. And it goes to this, it starts out on Wester Drumlins, and I love the detail in it. They didn't just say Wester Drumlins where there were Weeping Angels. It's builds up into a setup for a horror movie death, like the Wester Drumlins, and you jump the gate and you see the no trespassing sign, but you should, and there's creaky door, creaks open, and you go dry, rotting staircase, and you go creepy, grimy living room with a tattered chandelier, and you look out through the broken glass, and in the garden there is a weeping angel with its head in its hands. And then you hear a noise, you look away, you look back, and it's standing over you, the hand outstretched, one touch, and you're dead. And I think that is great. Go to the actual episode and watch that, because I am probably not doing it justice, but it is amazing the way Abby describes the Weeping Angels, and that is how they open the podcast. And Abby thinks that the Weeping Angels could be behind the disappearance, because after the Weeping Angels, you never see them again. And they actually know quite a bit about the Weeping Angels. Head in their hands, but obviously could be referred to the weeping of the Weeping Angels. One touch, and you're gone. You're disappeared. You never hear again. They get that right. And it's like, I don't know, it's just so great to hear the Weeping Angels again, mainly back in a lot of fans' minds to their former glory, because they haven't been used in a while, which I think is the right way to go, because there's not much you can really do against the Weeping Angels, just don't blink, which is repeated at the end of that, like, horror movie opening, Don't Blink, which is again a reference to what the 10th Doctor said, just whatever you do, don't blink. And Abby thinks that the Weeping Angels obviously could be behind the disappearances, as a lot of people have gone missing in London and Cardiff. And obviously London is referring to where Russell T Davies, his main companions, were. Obviously they moved kind of away from that in the later ones, but I think that was a good call. But London and Cardiff, which is obviously where Captain Jack's Torchwood team was. So I think that could be great. I mean, it could be Gwen Cooper, who is the woman who has gone missing. But again, it could be anyone. But again, Cardiff, where most people have gone missing. And again, Cardiff is built on the rift in space and time. So maybe just people who don't even know the Doctor have gone missing because of that. However, we are back to a regular guest this episode. And because it's the Weeping Angels, it is an amazing guest. So, the guest is Larry Nightingale, who was a person who appeared in the first episode that the Weeping Angels obviously did in Blink, and he kind of factored into the plot a lot, leading Sarah Lee Sparrow, the main character of the episode Blink, because this was the second Doctor Light episode. Sarah Lee Sparrow was the main character, but Larry Nightingale led her to see all the Doctor Who message of her to of him to her, gave like her a chance of saying like the blue box, look for the blue box. So Larry Nightingale was a big part of the episode Blink, and he is a big part of this episode because Larry Nightingale is not just a similar actor, it is the same actor as the person who played him in Blink. Which means this podcast is a must listen to. They're not just like, oh, we'll get a sound-alike actor for other previous guests in this podcast. This is the same person, which means it is a must listen to. You need to listen to this because I think this is going to in. I am pretty sure it's going to factor into the Russell T Davies era. There are some big comparisons, and I want a season 2 of Doctor Who Redacted. It's just great. Anyway, if you can't tell from what I just said right there, Larry Nightingale, I really like his character. He's just so down to earth, so cool. It's just so cool. But in this universe, it makes sense that Abby wants to speak to him, because not only did he experience all this stuff from the Weeping Angels, he is the foremost blogger in Blue Box history. And then there is a joke about Cleo saying that, try saying that with 3 fish fingers in your mouth, which is a reference to the 11th Doctor's favourite snack, fish fingers and custard. However, Abby has been trying to meet with Larry for 2 years, because despite all his blogging on mostly the Into the Unknown podcast blog, he hasn't met with Abby, even though Abby has been trying to arrange a meeting with Larry, which makes a little bit of, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I think I have an answer to this. So, the reason I think that Larry hasn't been wanting to meet with Abby is because he hasn't wanted her to get dragged into the Weeping Angels. He knows how deadly they are, as his sister went missing, Kathy Nightingale, in 2008's Blink, and also his wife's disappearance a bit later on, I think 2019, 2020. So he knows how dangerous the Weeping Angels can be. And he reveals that his wife obviously was Natasha, who is, if you don't know who Natasha is, she's only appeared in the Lonely Assassins game, which was obviously a game all about the Weeping Angels and Wester Drumlins. Unfortunately, it isn't Sally Sparrow, as at the end of Blink, Sally gave all her information to the Doctor to let the episode Blink happen as we saw it, and also she kind of hinted to the Doctor that there was a relationship between her and Larry. However, that didn't work out with Larry, unfortunately. Sally and Larry didn't work out together, but he got his happy ending in the end, and I hope Sally has her happy ending as well. But his wife disappeared too, and I think that is why he doesn't want Abby to meet with Abby, why he's been holding it off for so long, because I don't think he wanted to be there face to face with her. Because, as it says, getting later into the episode, he doesn't come to meet Abby. However, before we get into that, Larry wanted to meet Abby at the Glasgow necropolis and into this graveyard type of place, which has a lot of stone statues, and Abby notices this, and this is worrying, because at the end of Blink, and also in episodes with the Weeping Angels previously, it's not every statue can be a Weeping Angel, but any statue can be a Weeping Angel, and with statues around it a lot, there is a 100% chance that at least one statue is probably a Weeping Angel, which is definitely not good. However, Abby waits for Larry, and exactly where she was supposed to meet Larry, like the exact spot he wanted her to meet, which it would make sense why he said an exact spot, because there is a box left for Abby with her name on it. And it would make sense because he wanted Abby to know the exact spot so she would see the box rather than a rough spot and she might leave without seeing the box. However, this is where Cleo and Shauna join for Cleo to tell Abby about her brother and for them to try and rescue him. But before, Abby wants to hear the tape that Larry left for her, which it revealed is a tape, and the code for the box was 2008, which Abby guesses as the year his sister went missing. And his tape recorder, Abby guesses around 1930 this tape was made, which is, good, because we know that old friend, the 13th Doctor, reunited Larry with his wife in the 1920s. So Abby's guess on when he made this tape was probably right. So, the tape Larry left for Abby starts off with him, obviously, on the recording, on the tape recorder, and it starts off, obviously, how he would sound on tape, but then it melds in to him like he's in the room, like he's explaining it right to us face to face. And I think this is a really great sound design. However, getting into the actual thing of what Larry is saying, he starts, he saw this disappearance and people going missing and people forgetting them. And then he realised it starts to happen to him. He starts forgetting co-workers. He starts forgetting even his wife Natasha. And not only his memories, but also the 15 years on his notes on the Weeping Angels had disappeared. And I like this, how this is an opposite from the end of Blink, where Sally had all the notes on the Weeping Angels, obsessed with the Doctor knowing what had happened even a year after Wester Drumlins, and he just forgot even his friends and colleagues and even his wife, and he blames the angels for all of this. However, he goes to confront the Weeping Angels and barely escapes with his life. However, it is revealed in the Lonely Assassins video games that the 13th Doctor sent Larry back in time to the 1920s. It wasn't the Weeping Angels, to have a life with his wife, and UNIT would wipe every record of them living in the 1920s, so that Larry and his wife could have a nice, quiet, normal life. And Larry reveals that the angels weren't to blame for everything. They weren't ever the cause of the amnesia, and they weren't the cause of the people disappearing. The angels, he reveals, actually seem scared, and this is crazy, because the only time we've seen them scared like this, or scared at all, is of the cracks in time, which was revealed at the end of the time of the Doctor, that it was the Time Lords and the Daleks and the Time War, and there would be and if the Doctor said his real name, that they would come through and there would be a massive war and there would be chaos all across the universe, and even the Weeping Angels don't want this. No one wants this. That's why the silence was created, to stop the Doctor speaking his name. However, Larry also mentions that, like Rani, it sounds like the Doctor has turned against them, and he goes, if this is true, then we're all is all bad, is all screwed. And his last words to Abby is, look out for the blue box, but it kind of like tails out. And I just want to say, the sound design in this episode, amazing. The music choices we get when Abby and Shauna try to when Cleo and Shauna try to find Abby is great. The melding of Larry into the tape recorder and his last words kind of distorting out of the tape recorder, Cleo trying to get through to Abby, the Weeping Angel noises we hear, like stone statues moving, is just great. Also, the arguing at the start of the episode when Cleo thought there was someone in her house, we hear Abby and Shauna arguing in the background, is just great. And again, a nice parallel, look out for the blue box. That's what Rani wanted Cleo to tattoo on her, the Doctor in their TARDIS, or the Doctor and their TARDIS, which of course they know now is the blue box. But it's great to hear Larry say this, and it's great to be repeated. And again, the sound design for all those things that I just mentioned is amazing, and I wish we could have sound like this for the whole series. However, Cleo again picks up that Larry mentioned the Doctor, and again, from last episode, Cleo is the only one who can remember the Doctor, and it's like there must be something with Cleo, maybe because she's trans, and when this disappearing stuff started happening, maybe she was still Jaden, a boy at that time, but now she is Cleo, a girl. The redactedness isn't affecting her, as she can remember not just the Doctor but also Queen Victoria. So maybe there is something happening, but it is great to hear that there is still continuity in here, and great to hear from Larry, one-off character that was great, by the way, not only returning in the game but returning in this podcast, that the angels aren't to blame. They are, again, like the Doctor said, the only psychopaths in the universe to kill you kindly. They don't want the universe to end. They just need to feed on the energy. They don't kill you because really they want to, but kill you to stay alive. However, Larry has also mentioned that the angels maybe actually won in Blink because he has been trying to stop people knocking down Wester Drumlins and rebuilding on that. And the aliens, the Weeping Angels were trapped in the basement. And if they get moved, they're back to their full strength again. But again, they're scared, so maybe they're running, and again, they're not the ones to blame for this redactedness, but just something to remember. However, Cleo hears this sound of all 3 targets acquired, and this is obviously Cleo, Abby and Shauna, and then this tall dark figure which has been following Cleo, followed her just outside her apartment, and she thought was in the apartment too, ambushes them, and it sounds like he tasers them, or maybe it's an alien weapon like a stun gun, like that aliens have, we've seen in Doctor Who before. And Cleo rasps out, Doctor, help us. And that is the ending. And it's insane. I wanted the episode to not end. I wanted it to keep going on. It was great, this episode, and I think this is the best episode of Doctor Who Redacted. And maybe even the best episode of Doctor Who for the TV show for a while, and it is great. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below of this episode. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this episode, and also share it out, and I will see you in the next one.